Moving on to patch-through calls. Patch-through calls are the most targeted, controllable form of grassroots pressure, and they are best when a vote is imminent. What we can do is we call constituents in a specific area, and we say, your member of Congress is on the committee that is going to be voting on HR 1. This is the terrible bill that is going to make Washington, D.C. a state and permanently put 2 ultra-left senators into the U.S. Senate to vote in favor of Chuck Schumer and his agenda forevermore. Can I transfer you right now to your member of Congress to urge them not to cave into the left, vote no on HR 1? And what we can do with that is we can target some of those to the DC office and some of those to the district office. We can do 50 patch throughs to this particular representative and 100 to a different representative. We can turn them on and off as needed. So let's say you get someone who signs onto your bill. Well, all of a sudden you can turn off the patch throughs on that person and focus your budget on the people who still need to hear that pressure from you. They're very controllable to turn on and off, to decrease the pressure, to increase the pressure. And because you pay us by the completed patch through, you know exactly how much it's going to cost to get exactly the right number of patch throughs that you need to make a difference, and to coordinate that with all of your other efforts, with your grass cops, with your volunteers, with your in-person lobbying. I know it makes a big difference when you really turn up the heat on a lawmaker right before you meet with them. So let's say you have an appointment scheduled with Senator so-and-so's chief of staff. The day before that, you might want to send 300, 400, 500 patch throughs to them so that they show up in the morning to that meeting with you, knowing that they have gotten a lot of heat on your issue, and that it's not just a meeting with you, it's a meeting with every single constituent who called and expressed their opinion. It just puts so much more power behind what you're doing. And so the controllability of it and the quickness with which we can ramp up and ramp down. It's not my favorite thing, so I don't really want to, I don't want to encourage it, but there's been times when someone's called us at 10 o'clock in the morning and we've been up with patch throughs by 3 o'clock that afternoon. If you need something fast, if you need to make a difference quickly, this is the way to do it. And again, one of the things that we encourage people to do is combine this with your organic outreach. We had a state AFP chapter tell us something that I thought was just absolutely brilliant. When they in combination with their patch through calls, they knew that we were going to start making patch through calls for them that day. And so early that morning, they tweeted and put on Facebook that legislators, they said, please call State Representative so-and-so, tell him that we don't want, and I don't quite remember the issue, but tell him to vote no on this. And then they put that lawmaker's phone number and they tagged that lawmaker. So that lawmaker saw, that politician saw that social post that said, call this person. And then shortly after that, the phone starts ringing. Can you imagine their reaction to that? Well, that's exactly why combining organic outreach with patch through calls can be a politician's worst nightmare, because you'll get that organic outreach, but you're also guaranteed to get that grassroots pressure that we know is fixed and controllable and is going to be delivered on time, on target, on budget. And so we're going to play a patch through call for you here that was extremely successful for something we did here at home a couple of years ago. Our state AFP chapter was part of this overall effort. The patch through call I'm going to play for you is from the family leader. Iowa has a very archaic system by which we select our judges. And we were able to, with a coalition of organizations, get this changed. This had been a system that had been in effect since the 1960s that we were able to reform. So I'll play that for you now.
Hello, this is Barb with some great urgent news from the family leader. Currently, our Iowa judges are selected by nominating commission. The majority of the members on that commission are left-leaning lawyers who've been nominating liberal judges who disrespect our Constitution. It's time to change this. It's time to let our elected officials select the commissioners who nominate judges. And by doing so, we will reduce liberal, narrow special interests from selecting liberal judges who disrespect our Constitution. Do you believe that we need to reform the judicial nominating process and let your elected officials select the commissioners who will nominate judges?
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that.
That's great, and so do we. Would you like to be patched through to Representative Gary Moore so that you can tell him that you want him to give the power of selecting nominated commissioners to your elected officials? Can we do that now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't even know you could do that.
Okay, when you reach the switchboard, ask to speak with Representative Gary Moore. Whether you reach your representative, their clerk, or voicemail, let them know your name and where you live. Then let them know that you think it's time to change how we select our judges and that you want to see our elected officials pick the commissioners who will nominate judges who better respect the Constitution. Hang on, here we go, and I'm transferring you now.
Right. And as you can hear, that's this judicial nominating issue was kind of a complicated issue. And so it required a little bit of an explanation. And then to make things even more complicated, in some states, each legislator does not have their own phone number. There's just a switchboard. And so as you can hear, we were able to tailor and personalize that script to give that voter really specific instructions for how to make their voice heard and how to make that transfer successfully. And so I just want to make that point and emphasize that to you, that based on what's happening in your state or based on what's happening particularly on your issue, this general overall structure can be customized and personalized to make sure that it meets your need. And so that was a really successful effort, and one that was combined with many other kinds of grassroots outreach. It absolutely was a surround sound where these legislators could not escape hearing from their constituents on this issue. And ultimately, as with so many things, they did not get the initial bill they wanted, but what they got was such a great improvement, and they were able to do something just truly amazing.